All right, they didn't want us to do it, but we're going to do it anyway. So today we're going to go over Google OAuth 2.0 and how to use it on shortcuts. And this is what I'm talking about for those of you not familiar. Google OAuth 2.0 is what allows you to sign into your applications and use Google services for easy sign on, right? So we're going to sign into our account here for this application. We're going to give it our permissions and we are in. And notice how we went through that window and it automatically closed and redirected us back to the application. One of the biggest problems I was having with OAuth on shortcuts is that you had to click additional buttons in order to close the windows to come back to shortcuts, which was getting on my nerves. And I'll demonstrate what that looks like. I did update it so it works a little bit smoother now. I had an extra click and I removed that extra click, but now I completely also removed that last click and made it so that it automatically brings you back to shortcuts once you're signed on. This is a test application that or demo, so it does have a few more extra clicks than that one I just demonstrated with that fully built application. But this is great for building out product demos, et cetera, and automatically refreshing your tokens and things, right? So when you're testing things, let's say you want to build something like I have here where I built an automatic YouTube video creator right on shortcuts. You can do stuff like that. So this is the latest update on the one where you're still clicking, right? It's going to take you to this page. Hold on, there's a problem with these cookies not closing out on Safari. So that's a problem with Safari, and I had to switch over to Google Chrome because Safari keeps holding on to that page for some reason. So let's try again. It should take me to log in. Okay, we're going to log in. Select the account. Select my account. We're going to continue. This is not a verified app, so this is the extra click I was talking about here, right? Another click here, and then this is the final page. So what it's doing here, it's I will click return to application, and then it's going to allow me and open back and go back to shortcuts. So once you click shortcuts once, it's not going to ask you again. Right there, it actually failed because I think it's a Safari problem, honestly. Safari keeps holding on to that page because I must have a bunch of them open. Let me see how many I have open. So I was testing this out. Close them out. Hopefully it works. If not, we're going to have to switch it over to Chrome. But let's try again. And I know it didn't work because my refresh token didn't give me the output there so that I know that it actually refreshed it. So we're going to select our account. Continue. Return to application. So what I did there was I clicked that button. It's going to copy the URL. From that URL, we're going to extract our code. And I can simplify this and reduce the number of steps. But this is basically what I did. But if I do a little bit of regex, regular expression, I can probably pull the code in less lines than you see here. But basically, I took my clipboard, separated it. I split it into different parts. And then took out the part that I need, which is the code. It's my authentication code, which I then use to go ahead and submit another get request, get post request, so that I can pull my refresh token. And with that refresh token, I can now pull my access tokens for my Google applications, right? So any of the Google applications from Google Cloud Console that you may want to use for API purposes, or automation purposes for any application that you want to demonstrate using shortcuts in Python or some JavaScript right on your iPhone, you can quickly put them together. In this case, I've done quite a few with a lot of those services like Blogger, YouTube, text-to-speech, speech-to-text, etc., etc. So now, as you can see here, this one, the problem I don't like about it is that you had to click that extra button at the end. And again, that's actually one more less button than I had before. Normally, when it would open that page, I had it on the viewer, and what would happen was I would click copy, and then I would have to click the top left as in done to go back. So what I added to the HTML page was a redirect to shortcuts. So as you can see here, redirects to shortcuts from the web page, and I'll show you what that looks like in a little bit. So in order to remove that process entirely, what I started to use was Python, using Pythonista 3, so that we can automatically return. You'll see that this shortcut is a lot smaller. And I technically don't need this bottom part here either. We can do it all in Python and Pythonista. But just to show that, hey, we come back to shortcuts and it still finishes the process, we'll go over that. So this is the new method. All right, let me make sure I don't have any windows open. Nope. Okay. I'm going to click go. Okay. We're going to authenticate. Continue. And it probably is something to do with me adding a delay. I may need to add a delay, a longer delay when setting up the server. That way it has time to process. So there, it's done. And I know it's done because so right now, what time is it? It's 4:41. Let's go to our files and see that our files have been updated. 4:41, refresh token. And then our authentication token was updated also at 4:41. So I know that it is working. So it's a lot faster that way, and then you can continue your shortcut. So if you're creating videos or blog posts, there's a plethora of APIs on Google Cloud Console that you can use, but basically this will help you automate that process. So again, and then this is what the pages look like. So just created a simple server folder here. And what I'm doing is I'm redirecting everything to here, and I'm calling this start server script. And basically I'm sending it I'm basically just redirecting everything to my local host. I'm starting my local host at 127.0.1. I have my web page sitting right here on the same directory. And then we're basically going to redirect to that page. But before it even bothers loading, since I noticed that the server, when it tries to load, it already has the code. I'm like, well, why don't we just stop it right there? So we're stopping the loading process of the server, and we're just going to extract the code and go back to shortcuts doing the same method, which is shortcuts right here, shortcuts, the shortcuts URL. And we're just going to redirect back to shortcuts before it even loads the web page, and we can continue on with our process. And that's basically what this looks like, guys. So, and again, we can definitely shorten down the shortcut itself even further. The main thing that we need from the shortcut is really that the web view. We need to be able to open. Basically the web browser from this vantage point, instead of from Pythonista, because Pythonista does not have the security requirements to allow OAuth. But doing it this way, you can call, and then any script that you have that you need to come back to shortcuts, you just redirect using that shortcuts URL.